All right. So, thank you for being here at Body Matters class. I'm really happy that you joined. I actually would want you to be here instead of online. That would be so great. But hey, we got to do it like this. So I discover for myself that it's always different, because sometimes I really feel like, okay, where's everybody? Well, it seems like I'm talking to a screen here. But hey, this is how it works for now. Apparently, this is it now. So, but be sure that I'm really meeting you here. So it seems like all behind glass, but no, there's no barrier at all. And hopefully we're going to experience that today again. Like, oh, let it all dissolve, let all this matter dissolve, so that we can actually come into a direct experience of communication. That would be the best, wouldn't it? And of course we are communicating, so what am I trying to deny here? And so today there's the body matter class. The topic that was in the books is addiction, and so there's a physical component in that too, and in addictive behavior. Behavior is still something that you do with your body. So that's why it will come back to us today. And I'm very curious what will, show up in this meeting to share with you. Because I've no idea. I did prepare it, but I didn't come up with subjects or things that I really think that I should talk about. So it is always completely given what I share with you. So one of the things I wanted to start with is this too. It's like, how do you prepare for this? How do you do this? Well, to be honest, I just give my whole life to this, to everything that's occurring. I'm like, to the idea of addiction, for instance. Yeah, I've worked in a facility for addicts, and you name it, for a long time. And I've been going to meetings, to AA meetings for years and years and years and years, organized them, and you name it. But see, that still does not make me like having any credentials to do this in a certain sense. It's like, okay, that was in the past, so what is it happening now? So that's where we are going to come to. It's like, what is happening right now with that idea of addiction in my life, in my relationship with myself? So that's certainly a chapter that we will see in this class. So first of all, we start with really being aware of our bodily presence too. And we have a certain exercise that we do which can be called like the body matter meditation. And so it is really interesting to see that you need to do certain things in order to have a certain awareness. That seems to be still the way of learning things or getting in touch with it. And that's okay. So it's okay that we use that. There's nothing wrong with that. So the body matter meditation will start right now. And that is, so we start with closing our eyes, because it is really like giving ourselves the opportunity to come into a still place where we can be completely present and feeling the body as far as we feel it, and being aware of it as much as we can, as much as we allow ourselves to be open to receive that. And also you overcome a resistance to actually feeling it, because it might hurt, or it might do this, or it might do that. Okay, anyway, we start with our eyes closed. So please come with me in this meditation, in this body matter, body awareness meditation. So mostly I work with asking questions. How does anything feel in your body? So right now I'm feeling that my feet are connected to the earth, to the ground. setting them quite firmly on the ground so I can feel them really well. I'm feeling my sit bones in my seat, and my arms are on the table, and I don't know how that is for you. So are you feeling your sit bones sitting on a chair or on wherever you sit on a couch or on a bench, or who knows, in the car? So here you are. That's how that feels. So your feet are touching the floor and the ground. Or maybe you stand in the middle of a forest, or who knows where you are at this point. So we go up a little bit and we connect with the ankle bones. How are your ankle bones today? Are they feeling just very natural and quiet? And how is your lower legs? Are your shins relaxed, and is everything pretty good, or are there different sensations that you are aware of? Yeah, and also, yes, of course, we breathe too. So maybe that's a good thing to do. So don't forget to breathe deeply into your belly to make a real connection with your also body. Because you feel, say right now, you still feel the air, say, pushing your belly forward a little bit. And your lungs go up and they fill themselves with air. That's how it seems now. So it's good to be aware of that. So if you already didn't do that, please breathe a couple of times deeply. It's like release whatever you can during the whole meditation. Release whatever comes up. So if you need to sigh, you can sigh. If you need to cry, you can cry. If you need to just breathe, you just do that. So now we go to your knees, because that's where we left off. Here are your knees. How are your knees feeling today? Are they like really elastic, easy fit and wonderful, or are they a bit stiff, or what is the sensation today of those? And how are your upper legs? How are your upper legs? How are your hamstrings and your muscles and your... Can you feel them? Can you, maybe if you press on the floor a little bit extra, you might feel them. They give you a certain sensation. It looks like that. Okay, so then we enter to your pelvis, and how is that feeling today? How are your hips? How is that? How are your sit bones today? Are you feeling relaxed in that area, or are there any specific sensations that you feel? So keep breathing and releasing while you do it, and if you feel that you need to move your body around by standing up or however you want to do that, that's all fine. Like I have this great chair where I can do that automatically. So change around and move my body while I'm sitting, so-called still. So that's wonderful. And so here's your lower belly. How is your lower belly today? Is it relaxed? Is it full? Is it, what sensation are you feeling today? So, and here's your, that's where the breathing takes place, your diaphragm, right? That's the word for it. It just came in, that word, diaphragm. It's a really great word. So are you feeling it going up and down while you're breathing? And a little bit higher, are you feeling your heart beating and your liver? How's your liver today? So are your lungs smooth and open, or are they a bit contracted today? Or what is going on with them today? Okay, so, and now we go to your shoulders. Like, how are your shoulders doing? Are they relaxed? Are there any specific sensations that you feel? Or is it frozen, or is it did it just melt again? And then your back. We didn't go to your back yet, so let's feel that too. How is your back doing today? Is it resting against the chair, or are you sitting up straight and really straightening your spine? And talking about your spine, how is your spine? Does it have great souplesse, or is it a bit stiff today? It really doesn't matter what it is. We're just noticing it. We don't have to do anything with it. Allowing it just to be. It takes care of itself right now. In the meantime, we keep breathing. So the lower arms, the upper arms, the lower arms, the elbow. Yeah, the hands moving around. Oh yeah, the hands, the fingers. Yes. All's present. So your neck, continue with your neck. So you move your head around a little bit, slowly, quickly, whatever you feel like. I'm shaking it. And here's your head. How is your head today? Is it nice and clear and crisp and fresh, or do we have a different sensation going on? And how is your mouth? Are your teeth all right now? Do you have any kind of specific sensations going on? Or so here are your jaws. How are your jaws today? So your tongue is being used a lot while speaking and all that. So how is your tongue doing today? That's very specific. Yeah, all right. And so we go up to the top of your head. How's your skull feeling today? Is it nice and relaxed, or does it have different sensations going on? Okay. Just noticing this. Okay, so it's almost time to get up now. So I don't know if you're ready for that, but it's going to happen now. All right, it's always good to stand up, isn't it? So maybe put your arms in the air for just a moment to wave to the others in the class. Even though you have your eyes closed, it really doesn't matter. So hi, everyone. That feels good. Yeah, I'm on the other side of the ocean right now, but that doesn't matter either. Wow. Okay, so now you feel your feet again, and we go from one foot to the other, and also relaxing our lower back. So allow your spine to move around a little bit, and moving your hips also to feel how loose they are, if you can, just for the practice of it, to have a little physical activity. That feels good, doesn't it? That's really nice. And it takes away the attention of something else, doesn't it? That's always, if you focus on something, you forget about the other thing. That's amazing. All right, so here we are, and breathing in just like we did to the belly. And breathe out and breathe in. So we come to your senses. So your eyes are closed, and how are they feeling when they're closed? Does that immediately help you to calm down? It probably does, doesn't it? So how are your ears today? Are you hearing sounds right now in your room, in your office, in your car, on the beach where you stand, or maybe you're in the toilet and listening to this, who knows? So are you hearing noises? Are you hearing noises from outside? Are you hearing the wind rushing through the leaves? Or are you in the middle of an urban area where you just hear honking of cars and trains and who knows what, boats maybe even. Okay, so you are standing on this planet, so you're in your country, but you're still on the same planet. We're all on the same planet. That's what we decided that we do. We're all on the same planet and in this gigantic universe. And it appears that we will never be able to get out there, but for now we'll just focus on planet Earth, because right now it's supporting us. It's right here. You stand with your feet on top of it. It's attracting you with magnetic power. And so there's another sun shining at you, whether it's behind the clouds or not, or maybe even you're standing in the shade, but it's there. It's radiating all kinds of radiation to you. And it really warms everything up. So it's like it gives you energy. And it's totally amazing what you see around you on this planet Earth, is that this whole energy cycle is being presented to you on a continuing basis. So you've never seen anything like that. Every aspect with a spark of life in it is connected to you and to, say, the universe, where you are a whole part of. And so now you just became aware of a little bit bigger picture of where you are connected with. All right, so we'll bring it back and we keep it completely, say, almost like physical. So now you're able to open your eyes and go and sit down, and or you can keep standing if you feel like doing that. Okay, so here we are. I'm back in the seat again, or maybe you still stand. That's all right. So this is our meditation, and it's totally different than a meditation in which we would just leave our ideas for what they are. So there's definitely like a body awareness now. Can you actually, I don't know how it is for you, but now actually my body feels very heavy. I don't know what happened. So maybe I need to rest then. Okay. That's interesting. So it might change. Who knows? So we'll keep an eye on it during the session. So where is this good for, that we do this? Like, well, we decided that we wanted to include the body into our transformation. And I know for sure that for everyone that is the case. So, and when you're in class, you're practicing this with us, you become even more aware of it, that it is so. And that is helpful. And because, see, the whole idea of trying to escape this sensation or this awareness, it would not work, because your body will remind you of its presence, whatever. I need to say more about that instead of expressing it like this. So your body, you include your body in your thinkings anyway, because your body is actually doing a lot of things by your agreement, like you literally order it to do certain things. And that is continuous, like you're continuously letting your body do certain things. So the link with addiction is easily made if I give you a definition where that fits in perfectly. And I will do that in a moment. So today I came across this beautiful definition of it, of addiction. And then you see also the relationship with the body. And see, we use the body in our communication continuously anyway, because it's like you locate yourself with it, you place yourself in time, you place yourself maybe even in an age. You say like, okay, my body is 50 years old or 20 years old, or I don't know how old you are, how old you appear to be, how old you tell yourself you are. So you use body identification as your means to have this identity. That's why I cannot say just skip it to include it in the transformation, because the transformation of you, so to speak, is completely related to the undoing of what you think that you are. So that's why if you think that you're a body walking around on this planet, like we all feel that, and then you see that you cannot avoid having to include this body in the whole transformation idea. So you cannot escape it. And that's not in the way of just skipping it. No. So that's why I use it. So in this idea of addiction, so I'll give a definition. So today this came from the a foundation that's called wholehearted.org. So where also the movie The Wisdom of Trauma comes from. It's a medical doctor. He doesn't treat his patients as really patients, as people with a medical condition that have addiction, but he has a different approach to all of it, and that's really great. So I'm using that definition because it's so easily applicable to looking at your own behavior. So that's what we're talking about, behavior. Okay, so here's the definition. So addiction: any behavior manifested that gives a, say, temporary relief, like a short-term relief, after the craving for that, and it has negative consequences in the long term, but that doesn't stop the addict from continuing using that mechanism. So it's like, I'll read it once more. It's not completely. Any behavior manifested that is used for release or temporary pleasure to come to a relief of something that is really like stressing in a certain sense, pain, a sensation that you want to escape, and you have a strong craving for that. And seeing that the temporary relief doesn't give you something in the long term, but that doesn't matter for you. You're still using it, and you also cannot stop it. You cannot stop it voluntarily. So that's what we call an addiction. It's like that is literally like a prison where you put yourself in. But it's not a choice. So I will tell more about that. So the idea of a behavior that you perform in order to relieve yourself from something, from pain that you feel, from loneliness that you feel, from shame that you feel, from who knows what you feel. See that the fact that you look for a temporary solution to get rid of that, so to speak, is a very, say, natural human activity to perform. It's like probably we all have something like that. So whether, some examples would be like work, of course, drugs, alcohol, would be, what was the other? Eating. That can be coffee, that can be cocaine, that can be shopping, that can be smartphone, that can be computer work, that can be anything, It can be anything that gives you a temporary relief while it's actually influencing your life in the long term in a way that is absolutely destructive for you and the people around you. Okay, so that's an example of that. So that can manifest in all kinds of forms. So, and of course, see if we stretch this up even a little bit more as an addiction to death that humans have. It is like the addiction to death is really like the playing out of all this in order to, in the end, die. That is what a mortalholic does. It's addicted to death. It rather does nothing to allow a change to occur if there's a temporary solution that would take care of it. So the discomfort of the moment to go through something is like, no, that's not going to be done because you want a temporary escape. And you think that's going to be helpful, and you actually know it isn't, and you can still not stop it. So we've seen a lot of that, of course. So you recognize that in yourself, in other words. So this can also be in relationships, and we talk about like codependency, seeing that you're completely, say, dependent on someone while you actually know it's not good for me, or it's not bringing me anything except I'm used to it. It gives me a temporary relief, and who knows how this will end. This is a very short definition of codependency because there's so many varieties in behavior that you could apply to express this. So anyway, the body is involved in this. That's obvious. So it is in all of this, the body is really involved because it is with the drugs, for instance. See, that the relief idea is, you can say it's like that's an hormonal thing almost. It's like the dopamine that you start to feel where you really feel content and really feel like, it's so good to feel this. Oh, yes, I'm doing the right thing. While actually already better, and it's only temporary. So to extrapolate this to our awakening, it's like this is what you have been looking for alternatives for the love of God. That is the main thing behind it, whether you're aware of it or not. It's like you're actually looking for temporary relief because you must be in the conviction that there is no such thing as the love of God. So that's where it becomes a conflict in you, in fact. So that is with addiction too, like you see that you do certain things, but you actually don't want to do it, but you're obsessed, in a certain sense obsessed or occupied with the relief. You know that that's going to work, and that gives you a sense of control or a sense of contentment. Very temporary, but you rather choose that than to wait to go through the undoing of you in terms of allowing yourself to be born again. While I keep repeating this, but while you actually know better that this, you will come back to this anyway. You will have to wake up one day anyway. So the temporary relief is then, in that sense, nothing more than a delay. So that's interesting to be aware of as a possibility in your life with how to deal with this for yourself, or how to look at this. So are you an addict? That's then the question. Are you an addict? So you got to take a look at that for yourself. I cannot decide that for you. But you can see, like, even the little things that you're looking for a temporary relief have the same tendency, have the same motivation, in fact, for letting this occur, because you're looking for an alternative for the love of God that's given in this moment. So why not give everything away to God and let Him come to you in this? That is then, the overview vision that I want to present to you. So coming back to okay, one day at a time, here we are. This is the place where we actually become aware, okay, so there might be some form of addiction going on here. Maybe I need to take a look at that. I'm keeping repeating certain patterns. Yes, I would not really want anyone to take my coffee in the morning away. That seems like an innocent one, right? Like, no, I start my day with a coffee. If I don't do that, then I'm getting so grumpy and all this. You better give me that coffee. As just an example. I say, okay, so this is the way that you want to start your day. Yeah, so who does that? Yeah, I do that. I love to drink coffee in the morning. Yeah, so am I an addict? Okay, yes, I'm an addict. All right, I'll admit to that because I love to be helped with it too. So, see, all these things are, the more honesty you can bring into it, the greater the healing can be for you. And that is something interesting about, say, the meetings that I ever went to, say, the total honesty about where you find yourself in that situation, because you know that if you hide something, it will come back to you big time. Like, if you let go, absolutely. If you stop, for instance, drinking, absolutely, that means that you don't drink anymore. That doesn't mean that you now and then still take something. No, then you're still in that cycle. You're not completely free of it. So, see, this total honesty about where you find yourself with it is really important if you want to get out of the cycle of looking for temporary relief. See, and that's actually great that we come to this in this meeting too, because it seems to be so body related in terms of the things that you're so used to doing, or that you got so accustomed to, as you don't even see it as a special addiction or anything. See, and it is not necessary to say now, like, okay, I'm an addict or something. No, but to look at the idea of I'm looking for temporary relief in order to have my certain relief. Otherwise, I have to wait for God. When He comes finally to me, it might be too late for me because I really want it now. Like that tension or that principle, that mechanism, you wanna get through with that. You don't want to keep repeating that. So that's why I mentioned this, and that's why I love it as a part of this training. So your body awareness, to see what you want, what you crave, what you feel like, okay, what would really help me now? What can help me out of this? Because I feel so uncomfortable. How do I get out of this? So that's the great thing then, that we discovered that there is help. So we got to admit first that we have a problem, that we really need help. And when you ask for help to your Holy Spirit or to your inner voice, to your, I don't know how you say that to yourself, but if you can give it to a higher power, as is being said in AA, or if you can give it to a higher power that can restore you to sanity, that would be so incredible. And so that is possible, and you should apply that if you want to get out of the cycle. So that is really only your decision. You want to get out of it? That is one of the first starts that you do. You admit that you have a problem. Okay, so the reasons why you look for the temporary relief and why you cannot handle the intensity of feeling is very individual, but the basic principle is the same. It's like you feel something that you cannot deal with in any other way. That's why you start using your temporary relief. See, and that's where the part of, say, self-love comes in too, to be patient with yourself in that. So not to be harsh to yourself and saying like, okay, well, I got to stop this, and no. And then it's over. It's like, well, that's probably not going to work, because your motivated actions are also temporary. You might have a good idea. I don't know if you ever did this, like if you ever did this on New Year's Eve, having some good motivation of some good intentions for the next year, and maybe you could keep them together for a couple of days, but then it would be over, and you might want to get smoking, start smoking again, or whatever your intention was. So you cannot really trust that. So that's why it's good to realize, like, okay, it needs like a real foundation. There needs to be a real foundation for change, for having this being resolved within me. It takes a bit more than just a good intention. So that is a good start. So I'm saying, like, okay, so self-love is the first start, recognizing that you were not able to handle this in a different way than you do it now. Like, you look for your temporary relief, and that's the best you can do right now. That's why this works for you. Otherwise you weren't able to handle the intensities that you find yourself in, that you feel. See, and that is then with addiction not really a choice. It's like you grab that because you're just not able to do it any other way, up to the point where something occurs and you actually start to see, like, okay, so this is not helping anyone. I have to stop doing this. I have to come to the point where I admit I have a problem, and I want that to recognize that problem is solved. I want to come in touch with the solution, and I will find, like, something greater than me will restore me to sanity. So, and that can be what's been given here. It's like what we use, for instance, in the Course in Miracles, or what we use in AA, in anything that's really helping you out of the repetitive behavior of something that you don't want to do, but you cannot stop doing it. So whether that's thinking that you live in a timeline, say every day is one last closer to your death, or waiting, say, thinking with an idea that you're in a waiting room waiting to die someday, that would be also an addiction and a repetitive behavior, because every day, one day, it comes closer to you. So if you're, say, sick and tired of that for yourself, you cannot stop doing it, but you really don't want to do it this way, then it's good to admit that you have a problem and that you really want to get in touch with this solution. So in this intensifies the possibility of experiencing something else. Like, I could see that very much so when I got from an addiction, out of an addiction, like out of a dependency on alcohol, for instance. Like, the moment I stop doing that and start to apply that what was given me as my relief, like the Course in Miracles was it for me, from that moment on I started to have experiences, and before that I didn't not get them. So it was like, it is really a balance. It's like either you do it total or you don't do it at all. So that is with say addictive behavior in all sorts. It is the same story. You cannot experience the love of God that would actually be your relief if you use, say, temporary relief to make your pain doable. All right, so I'm hoping that this is clear to you, what I try to convey here. And this is not the totality of the story in terms of it needs your practice, it needs your practice, it needs your consciousness, like, how am I dealing with this? And at what point do I stand? Did I already say to myself, it's enough, I need help? Am I coming to the point where I'm actually ready to be reborn out of this? Or am I still, say, wanting my safe ways of dealing with my pain for myself? Do I want self-control in that sense or not? So that's where a whole practice comes in for yourself. And the means and the ways are given you to come to clarity in this, to come to a whole new experience for yourself. And it's really like a balance. You can't believe it. So the moment that you stop using that temporary relief and start to open up for and focus on like getting into the practice of something that is real support, then you also see that you get real experiences of that. So that's basically my offering to you. Like, why would you not just start with that as soon as you can? That would be so wonderful, so lovely. So I think that I shared with you what I wanted to share right now. So I'm really happy that you paid attention and that you're listening to this. And I'm curious to see how your response is to this and how this is for you. So if you feel like sharing that with me, you're welcome to do that via email or directly, or you can WhatsApp, or you can do whatever you want to get in touch. So thank you for that, and I hope to see you soon.